by you, Carolyn. That was fantastic. And it is Auburn with the basketball first. They are a much better team at home this season, not only defensively, but also offensively. Ariel Jackson misses the first shot of the game, and Joyce Edwards had to battle for the rebound. So South Carolina coming in off that huge win over Vanderbilt, ending their 20-game win streak. Interested to see how they would come out in this one tonight. And Auburn played Oklahoma tough on Sunday as well.
Oh, Sam, until 3 minutes to go in that fourth quarter, and Larry Vickers told him that they was really just a couple of key rebounds let that game get away.
Edwards with another rebound off the miss by Coulibaly. Don Staley going with the smaller starting lineup tonight. Edwards, easy. And speaking of starting lineups, let's take a look at the Auburn starting five. They are without Maya Money Petticord tonight. She's feeling under the weather and not expected to play. See how that changes things for the Tigers. Coulibaly buries the mid-range.
Yeah, that freshman's going to have to really pick up the load with Petticord being out.
McKeer and one.
Speaking of freshmen, South Carolina's adjusted their starting lineup, putting Akat McKeer in the starting lineup. And so really 4 guards on the floor. Joyce Edwards playing the 5. They're versatile, they can switch, and I think that makes this South Carolina team fast.
They call her Gotti, Akat McKeer, who is now in the starting lineup. Started at Vanderbilt, now starting again today. And completes the three-point play.
For a freshman, McKeer's defense is what I am so impressed with. She's got long length. She likes to put pressure on the ball. She may be tall, but she's quick enough to defend ball handlers on the perimeter.
That's a common theme within the South Carolina entire team. They are long. A lot of length with South Carolina this year. They have huge post presence, but Don Staley learning how to manage getting those post players in the game. Jackson. Raven Johnson will push the break for South Carolina. Edwards straight down the lane. And an offensive foul on Joyce Edwards.
That's that defensive collective unit that Auburn plays with. They're going to rotate and protect the paint. You saw 3 players collapse on Joyce Edwards. You know, we were talking to Larry Vickers. I said, what makes your defense so good? And he said that they have really bought into playing together for each other and playing hard. And that's how you build the foundation of a program.
Which is not easy to do when you come in and you have 30 days to recruit. As Larry Vickers and his staff really got to this job late. But already they've had a couple of SEC wins against Florida, the big one against Alabama in that rivalry. And in this league, as he pointed out today, you go 7-9 and you can be a tournament team. Latson, and Latson knocks down the 3.
Now, Latson struggled in the loss to Oklahoma, 1 for 10 from the floor, but she had 21 points against Vanderbilt, and I think everything had to do, and Don Staley talked about, the spacing is so much better on the offensive end, especially with this, starting out with this small lineup.
Nice cut off the mark. Latson's game against Vanderbilt, that was her first 20-plus point game against an SEC opponent. Nice look into Edwards. Tessa Johnson with the assist.
Well, that's what South Carolina does in making their living getting paint points. Everything except for Latson's shot has been attacking the rim.
South Carolina's 4 for 5 to start the game. Duhan off the mark.
Auburn's getting good shots.
Yeah.
They're just not able to make them fall.
South Carolina's been so good shooting percentage-wise. They get a lot of those easy buckets, as you mentioned. Timeout will be taken by Auburn as South Carolina's only missed 1 shot. They've had 6.
Look at Auburn offensively. They're 1 for 7 in the paint, and they have gotten layup opportunities. They haven't been able to finish against this smaller lineup. When those bigs come in, it's going to get harder for Auburn to score inside.
Dawn Staley continues with the small theme. She brings in Maddie McDaniel off the bench, number 1 in black, 5'9", sophomore. Auburn looking for the bucket, and McDaniel makes her presence known right away. The steal and bucket.
And this is the same kind of defensive start that South Carolina had against Vanderbilt. In passing lanes, one-on-one accountability on the defensive end.
It is a 12-0 run right now being enjoyed by South Carolina as Auburn struggling to find points. That's in and out, did everything but fall in for Lay. Latson to the corner. McDaniel couldn't handle the pass, but she certainly handled the defense on that last possession.
The South Carolina defense playing like they're hungry. Maddie McDaniel coming in up the line for the easy two.
Auburn 1 for 8 shooting so far.
And I like the shots that they're getting. They've just not been able to get them to go.
And again, we started the night saying how much better they've been playing at home. Good ball movement by South Carolina. Tessa Johnson. Johnson, one of the best three-point shooters in the country, off the mark there. Coulibaly.
You know, plus for Auburn is that they only have 1 turnover. And Mike Neighbor talked about they've got to take good shots. Those are good shots. An open shot against South Carolina is a good one.
Harris lost the ball for a moment, regathers it. Auburn just got their first offensive rebound. Duhan blocked by Latson. And Latson, with only Duhan to beat, goes under and scores. Wow.
Latson has been a terrific addition to South Carolina, and this is a player that had to carry the load at Florida State. There's a 3 for Auburn. But Latson has really found her rhythm and found her place in this Gamecock lineup.
First 3 of the game for Auburn. Harris knocks it down. Edwards double team. Turnover on South Carolina. Coulibaly. And Auburn gradually chipping away. 5 straight points for the Tigers. Good denial defense by Duhan. Auburn trying to make it 7 straight. And Coulibaly denied. Do you like South Carolina playing a little smaller, Carolyn? As Tessa Johnson knocks in another 3.
Here's what I like about South Carolina playing small is that they create extra work for their opponents to have to work on. So you never know what lineup now Don Staley can come with. They can go small and quick. They can go big and dominant. They can mix. They can go a hybrid, a little bit of both.
Hasn't gone big yet in this game, but it's working out well so far. Raven Johnson. Tessa open again. And it'll stay with Auburn. Don Staley, the only person in the world in history to win the Naismith Award as a player and as a coach.
And I think she's the only player that has been a point guard but thinks she's a big. I'd love to see Dawn when she gets on the floor. She's demonstrating how the bigs should play inside.
I love to talk about Don Staley as a player just as much as a coach. Ferocious competitor. Raven Johnson. And she took the assist from Tournebise, their new addition from France, who was the first French woman to have ever been documented to dunk in a basketball game in that country. Did it several times. Only 18 years of age. She's number 31 in black. 3 is open, and it is knocked down by Soraya Daniels.
Like I said, Auburn has been getting good shots. Now they're starting to fall.
Tessa Johnson, another open 3, in and out. Medina Okat in for the first time as well, number 11 for South Carolina. So they've gone big now. Tournebise is 6'7", and Okat 6'6". And McDaniel is fouled from behind by the tallest player in Auburn history, number 23, Arek Angui. Angui from South Sudan. 6'9".
They're going to need her presence inside, especially with Medina caught in for South Carolina.
South Carolina bringing McDowell in off the bench as well. So Dawn Staley using just about every player suited up.
Well, it's another three-point shooter because McDowell, she can knock it down.
Tornabee's had it blocked. Good block by Daniels. Auburn trying to answer, knocked out of bounds by McDaniel. Auburn under the guidance this year of first-year head coach Larry Vickers, who came to Auburn after the last 10 years as head coach, where he led the Spartans to 3 straight NCAA tournaments, including 4 straight MEAC regular season titles, and he is also known for defense.
Well, as he took Norfolk State to the NCAA tournament, that helped him to be familiar with the SEC. He's had to face South Carolina before.
Caught with the block. Auburn maintains possession.
I love the grittiness of Auburn.
How about McDaniel? Another steal leading to a bucket.
Yeah, I knew that sophomore was going to be special last year as a freshman. I mean, she came in, she does a terrific job of taking care of the basketball and plays with composure.
She's already got 3 steals. Dawn Staley really challenging her team to play to their standard, and they're doing it so far tonight. I don't think there's been any drop-off after that emotional win over Vanderbilt.
That was a great bounce-back game for South Carolina. After the loss to Oklahoma, I think she really got her team's attention.
Tessa Johnson on the drive.
Yeah, that's a good adjustment. Tessa Johnson has struggled from the three-point line, and she's 1 for 4, so deciding to attack the basket.
Final possession if Auburn wants to wait, first quarter. Auburn looking for that final shot. It's in the air and off the mark. Richardson couldn't get it to go down. So after 10 minutes, when you lose. And that's what Oklahoma did for them. What?
Cover up some warts, because you can win and then, you can point out to your players what needs to be fixed. And they go, well, but we won the game. It's not that big a deal. When you lose the game, every single little detail matters.
A nice penetration by Coulibaly, and Auburn gets the first bucket of the second quarter.
That freshman is fast, man. Coulibaly can get down the floor.
Also from France.
Now Auburn has switched up there in a zone, a 3-2. Now against a 3-2, a lot of times the shot in the corner is going to be what's open.
Tessa Johnson migrating over to that right corner. It is open. A good block out by Duhan, or good rebound. Tornabee's on her back.
And I like this offense by Auburn because they use a lot of clock, make the defense have to shift side to side.
Keep them moving, hope that shot opens up. Shot clock go down to 3. South Carolina's locked them down, and there's another steal. McDaniel in against Duhan, and Duhan had no choice but to foul her.
That's a good decision by Caitlin Duhan, though, because if you're going to foul, you got to make sure they don't get that shot up. You don't want to give up an and one.
So Maddie McDaniel will go to the free throw line. This is only the second free throw of the entire game. This game's been flying by.
Yeah, that first quarter, blinked and it was over.
McDaniel, one of the many McDonald's All-Americans that Dawn Staley has. Dawn Staley has McDonald's All-Americans, and Sam Purcell told me he has Burger King kids. Have it your way.
Hey, those Burger
they had a big one tonight.
They had a big one tonight against Tennessee. Beat Tennessee 77-62. And when you can out-rebound Tennessee 50-31, oh my goodness.
Yeah. McDaniel now has 6 points, all off turnovers. Lay takes the entry pass, doesn't finish. Easy rebound for Akat.
Oh, Turnaby's down low all by herself.
Yeah, big mismatch height-wise, too. Latson saves it off the floor. Tornaby's posting up. Latson just couldn't get that ball into her. And a turnover by Auburn. That'll be the 5th turnover on the Tigers. I'm wanting to see Tornaby's get the ball, Carol, and you've been singing her praises. She's heading to the bench now, but I'm excited to watch her play just talking to you.
You just want to see her get a breakaway because
dunk.
you see that dunk action happen.
I love how Diana Cavall phrased that. First documented French woman to dunk in a basketball game in that country. Edwards and one. She just makes it look easy, which is what great players do.
Well, the patience against the zone, and you saw Raven Johnson clapping, wanting the basketball because she knew the hockey assist was going. She goes to the corner, and that was going to be an easy feed inside.
Foul was caught on Lay. Joyce Edwards, what a jump from her freshman season to her sophomore season.
Well, when you look at the point production, that's one thing, but the efficiency has gone up as well, going from shooting 53% to almost 60%, and not all her shots are layups.
Well, Dawn Staley and her staff have a long tradition of taking freshmen and having them have huge improvements their sophomore season. Excellent at player development.
Well, there's one that's got her statue out front of Colonial Life Arena by the name of Asia Wilson.
LeCott gets called for the offensive foul. We mentioned some of those players that have made big jumps from freshman to sophomore seasons. Here they are.
Well, and you look at Aaliyah Boston, you think, well, that's not that big of a jump. Well, she had the freshies around her. There were a lot of players that improved their play from freshman to sophomore year.
Koulibaly has her shot rejected. McDowell actually got the first swat at it.
The other thing about that graphic, when you're in the same conversation as Aaliyah Boston and Asia Wilson, those are two dominant bigs in the WNBA right now.
Yeah.
So Joyce Edwards' future is bright.
Auburn trying to run an inbounds play. That's one way to do it. Koulibaly threw it off of Latson's back on the playground. I remember doing that to my brother.
But that freshman point guard's got a little savvy about her. As soon as she saw Latson turn her head, went off her backside, and then to gather and go up quickly to draw the foul.
Yeah, love it. So Koulibaly from Paris, France. She's originally from the African nation of Mali, but moved to France as a teenager. Larry Vickers telling us that he thinks she's one of the fastest guards in the country in terms of speed, and she's actually playing out of position this year for him.
He said she's never played the point guard spot, and you look at how productive she is at running the team. And I was looking the last 4 games in the SEC, she's moved into the starting lineup, and he said he wanted to gradually work her in, and she has adjusted perfectly.
Baseline jumper off the mark. Yeah, he told her if she'd just do it for one season, it would pay huge dividends down the road. Interception by Daniels. And then Raven Johnson trying to steal it back. We got a jump ball or no? No, she was out of bounds when she had possession. The ball will stay with Auburn. So a no jump ball. Raven Johnson was out of bounds.
Yeah, that foot went out of bounds. It's a good call by the official.
Yeah, Brenda Patoha, who accidentally took a swig of our statistician Riley Adair's drink a minute ago. Glad she's okay.
What's mine is yours.
We're all family. Koulibaly looking for that screen, gets around it. Bayoso. Oh, nice. Bayoso got her miss. Doesn't get the finish, but the ball's going to stay with Auburn. And Dawn Staley will bring in big for big. As she's bringing in Adele Tack now, number 15, taking out a cot. Tack is 6'5". Koulibaly didn't have anybody to throw it off their back that time and couldn't get it in.
Well, all that happened because of Tanai Latson, and that's one of the big reasons that she came to South Carolina, is to improve on the defensive end, because she knows she's got to have that part of her game to have an opportunity at the next level in the W.
There she is, shooting the three off the mark. Harris will slow it down. Now, Latson also athletically has improved so much at South Carolina under the training of Molly Benetti, their strength and conditioning coach. She told me that Tanai has added 4 inches to her vertical.
Well, you can just see her body composition, the strength that she has.
Latson to Edwards. Edwards going to work. Edwards.
I like the ball movement, though, by South Carolina. They're looking, before they catch it, where's the next pass need to go?
Well, that was something Dawn Saley was challenging them today in shoot-around, is to not hold the ball. Keep that ball moving. Don't stand still with the ball.
Well, when you coach that way of moving the basketball, you've got to think a play ahead. You've got to be aware. You don't want to just catch it, give it to me so that I can participate. You've got to know what you're going to do with it when the ball comes to you.
Raven Johnson bringing it down. South Carolina's won 95% of its games when she's been in the lineup over the course of her career.
She's only lost 7 games in her college career.
And she is a senior. Shot clock is down to 6. Somebody's got to put it up. Down to 2. 3 on the way. And Belloso runs down the rebound. Belloso from country of Spain. She's the first Auburn player from that nation. She has the ball now. I'm enjoying all these international players in this game. Media timeout.
Committee has got a lot to look at as this SEC season, make sure that they don't penalize if one SEC team loses to another, because look, this is the cream of the crop in the nation playing in the SEC right now.
Yeah, I mentioned it a little while ago. Larry Vickers had some interesting thoughts on that. Belloso with the steal, and nice. That is the first time they've scored in their last 10 possessions. Yeah, Larry Vickers saying that the blessing of playing in a conference like this is that you go 7-9, you can get a tournament bid. Your net is always going to stay high when you're playing in this conference.
Well, you got to try to protect home court, and you got to win the right 7.
Shot clock again down to 4. Baseline jumper is buried by McDowell. Good use of the shot clock there. Wow.
Playing against the zone used to be something that South Carolina struggled with. Ball is moving very well against Auburn's defense tonight.
Lay with a take. South Carolina ball. Well, we've got a men's basketball quadruple header, capped off with A.J. Storr and Ole Miss hosting number 18 Vanderbilt at the Pavilion in Oxford. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central on Saturday.
Did you see my Commodores beat Kentucky?
I did.
Woo!
I was the voice of the UNC Wilmington Seahawks when Mark Byington was a player for UNC Wilmington.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a sharpshooter back in his college days. Turned into quite a coach. McDowell.
Oh! Everything but dropped through the hoop.
Coulibaly threw it right to McDowell. Latson, eyes up. Tessa Johnson knocks down the 3 in the corner. So smooth.
Here's what I see, the difference between that game at Oklahoma and the last 2 games for South Carolina. Instead of individuals hunting their own buckets, as a whole, the team is hunting for the best shot they can get on the floor.
That is 100% true. South Carolina is mastering that here in this game. A nice offensive rebound, doesn't get the putback though. Lay is there to clean it up. Auburn scored the first bucket of this quarter. They've only made 1 shot since. South Carolina's up 10-4 in this quarter. Tornabees and Edwards will return for South Carolina. So Tornabees just joining the team. This is her 5th game, number 31 from France. But have you taught her mom the Hall of Fame handshake?
Not yet. Not yet. I did get an opportunity to meet her mom, Isabel Fidjwalkowski, when I was in France, actually calling the first game of the season. And her mom was at the game. She will be coming back to the States for the Hall of Fame induction. She's so excited and well-deserved.
And congratulations to our ESPN teammate, Doris Burke. She'll be joining the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame.
I think that people get tickets to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, the induction, because you're going to hear some great speeches. That's a host of characters. Those are going to be fun.
Battle for the loose ball. McDaniel was fouled. Still trying to figure out who they called that foul on.
McDaniel, I think for a minute thought she was called for the foul.
She did, but it was against Auburn. And looks like foul's on Jackson, number 7. Oh, the lob down to Tornabees.
Threw it a little behind her.
Thought we were going to have the alley-oop slam. Again, Tornabees, she's only 18 years old, but with tremendous upside.
And we haven't seen yet tonight, but I really like how she maneuvers around the free throw line area. She knows when she needs to shoot it, when she needs to pass it. There's no second thought about it.
3 is open, and it is good by Maddie McDaniel. That is just the 6th made 3 of the season for her. Boy, McDaniel's having a fantastic game. 9 points now. Hasn't missed a shot. 3 field goals, 2 free throws. Auburn with just 14 points now. Their fewest points in a half is 17. And a chance to pick up a couple off that foul, as Auburn will be at the free throw line now. Tornabees got called for the foul, her 2nd. And it'll put Jamia Harris on the free throw line.
Now here's going to be interesting for South Carolina with 18 seconds left to finish this quarter. I mean, this is where you practice for March. How do you handle the end of the half?
We've seen Dawn Staley call timeouts and draw up plays for these situations, even with a big lead, to work on that situational basketball. Final 10 seconds of the half. Latson drives. Tornabees with a rebound. Doesn't get the finish. To below their season average for a half. So there's hope for Auburn.
Well, yeah, I really liked Auburn's offense, the opportunities they provided for each other. They just weren't able to get their shots to go down. I mean, they only shot 20% in that first half.
Lay gets the offensive rebound. Important for them to score on this first possession. Duhan, get that out of here, says Okot.
Now you got to understand that Medina Okot is 6'6". You decide to drive in, unless you have the advantage, that's what's going to happen.
South Carolina leads the SEC in blocks. That was their 4th. They average over 6 a game. Shot clock did not reset, still has not reset. So it'll be Auburn's ball with 6 on the shot clock. Harris comes over. Got to get a shot off quickly. Coulibaly puts it up, gets rim, offensive rebound by Lay. And Lay with the finish. She had 2 offensive rebounds on that possession.
Now Auburn needs to get stops and have that kind of execution and determination with each offensive possession.
McDaniel running the point right now for South Carolina, getting the start here in the 3rd quarter. Edwards takes the entry pass. Doesn't draw the foul, gets her miss, and sticks it in on the left side of the basket.
Yeah, with South Carolina, you got to pick your poison. Are you going to take away the paint, or are you going to try to defend on the perimeter? You defend on you're opening yourself up. I say, look, you just try to build a fence and hope South Carolina misses from outside.
Jackson drives and is fouled by Tessa Johnson. So Ariel Jackson will go to the free throw line. She was the big star against Oklahoma. Came off the bench and had a career high 19. Made 3 threes against the Sooners.
Jackson was a 3-year starter at Cincinnati, and she is a player that can produce points, especially going behind. You go underneath on ball screens. She's a big guard. She can get it inside.
She's the daughter of former WNBA star Kim Hampton, who was the starting center in the inaugural WNBA All-Star Game. First points tonight for her. Edwards, good look down low to Okot. Nice pass from Edwards.
You know, what we saw there is one of the things that Dawn Staley wants to see continue to develop, and that's the chemistry post-to-post passing between the post players.
Lay got loose, didn't take the shot. Here's Duhan. And Duhan with a nice move inside. How do you explain that, Carolyn, the chemistry between post players exclusively?
Well, you've got to understand when your counterpart is going to be where and how they like to receive the basketball, and then the receiver has to read that high post. You got to read and know when she's going to shoot it and when she's going to pass it to you.
But here's the Bigs movement on this play.
Well, you see when the ball comes to the top of Joyce Edwards, well, that wasn't the one, but when Joyce got it up top and then hit it down low to Okot, I mean, that's just a feel of knowing where each other are going to be.
Lay committed the foul. Okot on the free throw line. Okot, 4th in the nation in double-doubles. She's had 13 double-doubles, all points and rebound double-doubles. She had a career high 5 steals against Vanderbilt on Sunday. Auburn leading this quarter 6-5. Nice look inside, just does not go in for Coulibaly.
Coulibaly made that a little harder than it needed to be. She had the right lane open, went for the reverse.
It's been the story tonight for Auburn. They've missed a lot of open shots. Whoa! Tessa Johnson with a hand in her face. That's her 3rd made 3 of the night.
I think Tessa Johnson has one of the prettiest 3-point shots, and it about draws rain with the arch. You know, another player, Skylar Diggins, shoots the ball like that really high.
Johnson defending Coulibaly out front. Coulibaly picks up her dribble. Shot clock is down to 6. Harris going to work and draws contact with 3 on the shot clock.
Tessa Johnson, textbook. You watch her. She gets her elbow down, over the knee, the follow through, the finish, and the perfect arch. Hits nothing but the bottom of the net.
Tessa Johnson, 3 of 7 behind the 3-point line. Only has 1 2-point shot tonight. Everything else has been 3s. Harris at the free throw line. She was fouled by McDaniel. Harris, 77% free throw shooter. She's made some clutch free throws this year for them. Had some big ones against Alabama in the win, big ones against Florida in their other SEC win, and gets a couple there.
Tessa Johnson plays the game with so much joy. She looks like she's having a good time all the time when she's on the floor. Even when she's not, she's having a good time on the bench.
There she is again, in and out. Coulibaly trying to beat McDaniel. Doesn't get the shot to go in. Raven Johnson looking up to Edwards. And Edwards with the easy two. Well, you miss a shot against South Carolina, and that is tough to overcome.
Yeah, it's almost like a turnover. They are off to the races.
Bayoso loses it out of bounds. Miriam Dowda will come in for the first time for South Carolina, number 30. Dowda's part of that big platoon that Dawn Staley has. Came over from Arkansas. Dawn Staley calls her the ultimate teammate.
Yeah, it's been hard for Dowda to get on the floor, especially with South Carolina starting with that small lineup. Means more benches, more post players coming off the bench.
Edwards knocks it in. But, you know, Dawn says she remembered when she was a player, and so she is very, makes an effort to talk to Miriam and let her know where she stands, let her know that there's nothing she's doing wrong. It's just the dynamic of the team right now. I love that communication.
Yes, because you always want players to know they are appreciated, and sometimes it's just a, for a minute.
Soraya Daniels even smiled at herself on that move. Edwards. Wow. Edwards is just eating him up inside.
Well, she's earning every bucket that she gets. I think there's a little contact there, but in the SEC, you got to finish that.
17 points for Edwards. Tessa Johnson, the only other double-figure scorer in the game. So we will have a media time.
Start out digging themselves a hole.
Remember when I said McDowell with 5 points off the bench tonight. Bayoso stopped by McDaniel. Lay traveled.
Now, South Carolina, just the mindset of thinking, where's the best shot? Pushing in transition before Tessa Johnson gets the basketball. She knows McDowell's in the corner, and a shooter, when she catches it in rhythm, that probability, that percentage goes up.
It's just been a tremendous coaching job by Dawn Staley and her staff to take the pieces they have this year with Chloe Kitts going out and finding ways to win with different combinations of players.
When you think about this, Sam, South Carolina returned one starter from last season, and so the ability to have so many players playing new positions, and the addition of leading scorer in the nation in Tanaya Latson, and she fitting in with the rest of this group. Then you've got the size of Medina Okad, who transferred in from Mississippi State. It's like the next platoon was ready to take over coming in this year.
Yeah, that only returning starter you referred to is Raven Johnson. Bayoso gets loose on the baseline and gets the roll. I think people forget Joyce Edwards and Tessa Johnson came in off the bench last year.
Yeah, Joyce Edwards led the team in scoring coming in off the bench.
Tessa Johnson with the 2. 13 points for her now.
When you think about a scouting report and guarding or approach South Carolina, it's like, well, who do you shut down? You can't take away.
I'm supposed to ask you that.
I mean, it's like, okay, do you take away Raven Johnson, head of the snake? Well, you've got Maddie McDowell who can play the point. Tessa Johnson can control it at times. Tania lats, and so that doesn't benefit you. Then you say, well, I'm going to shut down the paint. Well, yep, South Carolina has proven that they can consistently score from the perimeter.
That foul was on Harris. So what kind of team is a bad matchup for South Carolina?
Well, Texas gave them a run for their money.
Why is that?
Well, because I think Texas has what South Carolina does. I mean, they've got the balance of the bigs. They've got perimeter scores, a tremendous point guard in Rory Harmon.
Richardson decides not to take it in. Quick three off the mark. McDaniel getting a lot of minutes running the point tonight. The sophomore from state of Maryland. Nice lob, and Dowda is fouled by Harris. South Carolina has been to 5 straight Final Fours. They won the NCAA tournament a couple of seasons ago. These are some of the characteristics of their national championship teams, and this team is trending with those numbers of the past.
Well, you look at, 2-point field goal percentage over 60%, but the improved 3-point shooting in each year that they won the national championship, and they're trending, or the amount of points that they're getting from 2-point versus 3 is about the same for this season. Get about 21% from the 3-point line.
Dowda buries a couple of free throws.
And South Carolina is shooting over 37% from 3 on the season.
Making 6 a game. They've scored 89 points per game on average this season.
Well, here's the thing. Just because you can shoot the 3 doesn't mean you have to, but it's there when you need it.
Duhan swatted away by Dowda.
The link on the South Carolina team. And this is, you were talking about Dowda. She's doing all the right things. It's just a matter of minutes. She's got the length. Her defense has improved from her time coming to South Carolina from Arkansas. She was a post player that came in that liked to play on the perimeter, and she has adjusted her game to be willing to play inside.
She led the nation in blocks last year at Arkansas. But just even on that replay with the block, she was so far away from the defender just to further back up your claim and how long she is. Lay at the free throw line now. Lay, a sophomore from Senegal, came from Towson. She was on the CAA all-rookie team last year. Another new piece for Auburn. Under a minute to play in the third quarter. South Carolina up by 30. A win tonight puts them in first place in the SEC. Tornabese catches the feed, misses the layup.
That's twice South Carolina's tried to go to the French phenom.
And Tornabese commits the foul on the other end. 4th foul on her. So how much of an adjustment is it to come in and play Division I college basketball when you've come from a country like France?
Well, when you look at, she's only 18 years old. She was playing back in her home country. Well, she was on the team, but not playing a lot. So at 18, she could come into South Carolina. Don Staley offered her the opportunity to start playing this semester. So she got off the plane January 1st. Her first game was against Compton State. And I have seen the evolution of her game. She's adjusted to also the physicality of the SEC.
She had 9 points in that Oklahoma loss. Dowda throws out of the double team. Edwards' pass is deflected. It'll stay with South Carolina. Oh, nice. And Adele Tack appreciative of that pass. Final seconds of the quarter. So South Carolina gets...
It's going to be real interesting You got 10 teams ranked in the top 25. So that's a hot ticket.
Gosh.
You better get that one now because they're going to be great games even starting on day one.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be phenomenal. The SEC tournament back in Greenville again this year. First week of March. Dowda misses that jumper. And again, South Carolina, they win this game tonight. They take over first place. Top 4 seeds in the tournament get the double bye. Daniels to Jackson, shot clock a factor again. Jackson on the take. Got her miss. Shot clock didn't reset though. And an empty possession for Auburn. Dowda is mugged when she catches the pass. And Dowda will go back to the free throw line and they'll call the foul on Daniels.
We were talking about teams that, we look for, could possibly be in Phoenix, and what do they need to have? I think that balance inside and out, but also depth. And again, Dawn Staley, from one end of her bench to the other, they got players she can play. Got McKeer didn't return the second half, had an injury, but she'll be back.
Well, 10 South Carolina players have scored tonight. The only player that's gotten into the game that hasn't scored is Tornabees. To your point about depth, and she's given a lot of players a lot of minutes tonight that typically may not get as many. A nice move on the baseline by Coulibaly. And this Auburn team has done a pretty good job defensively. I know the scoreboard, you may argue with me, but keep in mind this is a South Carolina team that averages 89 points a game.
Now they put 103 up on Vanderbilt.
Now watch out, that was danger. Dowda went crashing into the bench. South Carolina's next opponent will be Texas A&M. Auburn's in the midst of playing top 25 teams. This is their 4th straight top 25 opponent as Raven Johnson gets that layup.
Well, they have Ole Miss next, then Florida, then LSU. Like, there's no what you would call like a homecoming game in the SEC.
A nice move by Lay.
Number 6, Lay.
Johnson throws around the defender. They get it inside, and Tack misses the shot but draws the foul. And that's going to be on Soraya Daniels. Joyce Edwards is going to come back into the game now. Edwards has 17 points tonight, 8 of 12. It's the leading scorer in the game. Tack at the free throw line. Tack's good at the free throw line. She came in only shooting 50%.
There's just been a difference from this South Carolina team since that Oklahoma loss. The intensity that they're playing with, especially on the defensive end.
There's case in point. How about Tack ripping that rebound away? It's been a no loss of focus for South Carolina tonight. Edwards misses the layup. Dowda gets it back and draws another foul. So Dowda going to go back to the free throw line. And Dowda tonight, 4 for 4 from the line. All of her points have come from the free throw line. Well, the Fighting Tiger is our next SEC story. It premieres Friday, February 13th at 10:30 Eastern after LSU's gymnastics meet against Auburn. And it'll chronicle the 43-year career of LSU gymnastics head coach Dee Bro. Dee Bro, a trailblazer in that sport.
Oh, a goat in gymnastics. And look, she's one of my favorite people. She gave me swag for the LSU gymnastics. So I'm 6'4", walking around in a LSU gymnastics pullover. I love it.
Yeah, SEC gymnastics. We talk about the 10 ranked women's basketball teams. I mean, everybody in gymnastics is ranked. Steal by Koulibaly, and Koulibaly gets the layup.
Number 3, Harrison Koulibaly.
Good fourth quarter for Auburn. Tied with South Carolina, both teams with 8 points. Nice look inside. Tack couldn't get the finish, and then commits the foul. Yeah, Dee Bro, I'm going to definitely watch the Fighting Tiger SEC story. What a legendary head coach at LSU. By the way, LSU is the defending national champion in gymnastics, but she is her nickname, the Dean of Coaches at LSU, and they've had some incredible coaches in that school's history across all sports. Lay with a jumper. And Auburn's thinking, where were these shots in the first quarter? Turnover on South Carolina.
Look, I think when a game has this much distance, between South Carolina and Auburn, if you're South Carolina, like, you don't want to start making mistakes, because that's what's going to show up in the film session tomorrow.
Raven Johnson with a pull-up. A lot of Gamecocks on the boards there. Dowda comes out with it. Nice D by Bayoso. Bayoso to Duhan. And Auburn has outscored South Carolina 12-8 here in the fourth quarter. Don Staley will bring in 3 new players at the next dead ball, under 5 to play. Auburn's on an 8-0 run. Edwards works her way inside and draws the foul. So Joyce Edwards will be on the free throw line to try to complete the 3-point play. Her Gamecocks up big. Committed the foul on Edwards. This is to complete a 3-point play, and Edwards does. So Edwards now with 20 points.
She's hit her average.
Just named one of the 25 on the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year watch list earlier this week. Edwards with her 12th 20-plus point game so far this season. 3 off the mark. Good box out by Okot. McDaniel to Turnaby's. Turnaby's the only player that hasn't scored for South Carolina tonight. And when Dowda caught the entry pass, she was fouled. Auburn going to their bench, bringing Daniels back in, as well as Richardson.
Now, Auburn has held 20 of 21 of their opponents to below their season average. And so, they've an average of 10 points fewer. So the number for tonight is 79 for South Carolina.
Well, they average 89. So let's see if they can be held under that 89 point per game.
Oh,
nice look.
Nice
McDaniel
look.
to Okot. Beautiful. That'll be on the summer camp film. Campers will see that one.
Well, the guards spent a lot of time with Jolette Law. Not just the guards, the posts do too, handling the basketball.
Oh, 3. So good by Soraya Daniels. Soraya played her high school basketball just across the street, practically at Auburn High School, scored over 2,000 points. It's the first 3 Auburn's had this second half. Steal by Lay. Daniels fell down, and Dowder grabs the rebound. Tornabees, yes! And all of the Gamecocks have scored tonight.
Yeah, a lot of times when I watch South Carolina, I'm like, okay, I'm a little greedy. What do you see this year? What's the future going to be like next year? Because Raven Johnson will be moving on. Maddie McDaniel will be a good one to turn over the keys to the bus.
Yeah, she's done a good job tonight. That's her with the basketball. She's had extended minutes tonight. Tornabees shoots again.
Now, Maddie McDaniel, she can survey, find the bigs inside, kind of like Raven Johnson. That's Jolette Law that works with the guards, and you know, it comes natural from Jolette Law. She's a former Globetrotter.
Yeah.
Look at JoJo. And not only was she a Globetrotter, she was a Globetrotter and MC Hammer's video, Too Legit to Quit. You got to go look it up on YouTube.
You had me at MC Hammer. Tornabees didn't get the finish. McDaniel wanted her to dunk it. Lay weaves her way through the double team, and I think Tornabees has just fouled out, but she got her bucket. So all South Carolina players scored tonight. Almost had an alley-oop on that last play.
Oh. Almost, so close. They've tried that 3 times to get her that alley-oop tonight.
A big round of applause from the South Carolina faithful behind the bench.
Well, they love Allie Turnby, and it is amazing how she has just blended in with the chemistry of this team. And when I was in South Carolina and that ice storm was coming through, her teammates took her to Costco for the first time. So she had a big time there, but she said her favorite store is Target.
Yeah, a mind-blowing experience. Tack traveled. Give it back to Auburn. Under 2 to play. South Carolina will be taking over first place in the SEC after Tennessee's loss tonight to Mississippi State. South Carolina will play Tennessee on ABC February 8th. They still have to go to LSU, go to Alabama. They'll have Kentucky on the road.
There's still a whole lot of work to do to hang on to that top spot.
Oh, blocked by Tack, but I must have gotten the body. Whistle blew. And R.L. Jackson, the recipient of that foul. Second foul on Tack.
I like that mask that Adele Tack wears.
Yeah, it's intimidating.
Kind of look like a superhero.
Yeah, with the red hair. Do you call that red? Is it red hair? What would you call that?
Burgundy.
Okay. South Carolina burgundy, yeah. Or crimson. Crimson.
There
Sorry,
you go.
Yeah. Crimson. Well, South Carolina up 78-48.
1 minute remaining, 1 minute.
Three on the way, good again. by McDowell. McDowell with her second three tonight. Good performance by the South Carolina bench. They have certainly done a good job when given the opportunity to play tonight.
Balanced attack, intensity, but from everyone that stepped on the floor. Did not take Auburn for granted.
Harris knocks down the three. That's her second three. So final seconds of this one. South Carolina, the new first place team in the SEC, and Auburn, a learning experience, plenty positive things going on in this Auburn program.